Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? Well, it's not night, although it's very dark and gray out, so it may as well be. It's almost jammy time. All right, maybe not. Okay, you caught me. I love just puttering around in my pajamas. I don't know about you, but I love the cozies. Let's see if I can fix this camera. That's a little better. Not great, but better. Okay, I have a card today that I think you're going to like, so let's get started. I don't have anything. I hope you all took advantage of the free shipping last week. I know I did. I had a smaller order, so it was kind of nice to have free shipping on it. Ooh, looking at my camera, looks a little crooked. Let me see if I can fix that before you have to see it. I didn't even put myself over here. I am sorry. So, how's everybody? I am drinking a nice cup of hot tea because it is really, can you see me now? I realized I didn't change my screen. Gladys, you're over on YouTube. That's kind of cool. Anyway, you can see me now. Anyway, it's very dark and gray here today. We have another storm coming in. Supposed to have a bit of rain, um, which is not surprising this time of year. The mountains are getting snow, which is really good, especially for those who ski. I would not be one of them because I would be laid up in the hospital if I was trying to do that. That's just how it is. I am not the most coordinated person you'd ever want to see. So I'm going to just switch you over. If I'm talking a mile a minute, I'm going to apologize for that. Oh, let me do a little better job on the camera. While I do that, I'll make you look at me. I was just so busy designing this card that I truly, oh, well, maybe it's usually my program that I can see comments on, my streaming program. It puts everybody under where they're watching. So I guess you are all on Facebook. Hi, Heidi. Okay, let's see if I can get the camera fixed. I did not get that done. Like I said, because I was designing the card and then I was cutting cardstock for the giveaways. And then I thought I would try to do the random name picker from last week. That did not work so well. So I got part of it done. I'll finish it up afterwards. Let's see. And this, maybe that could be just angled a little bit. Oh, I think that looks better. And you're going to see my little Nutsy stamp. Okay, I think I got it. That was like work. So here's our card. This is the marbled elegance paper that's new in the online exclusives. It is a really cool paper. And it's got all that gold in it. Beautiful colors. Cherry Cobbler, Mambo Melon, Flirty Flamingo, and gold running all through it. I mean, who could ask for more? So I decided to play up the gold, as you can see. Oh, you're cold, but the sun's shining. See, I like sunshine. I don't mind it being cold with sunshine. Along with this I'm using, I didn't buy the stamp set that goes with it because it really seemed very Valentine's-ish to me, but I loved the heart dies. It is a pretty paper. And I love the dies. Then I used also an online exclusive, the mixed labels. I'm using You're Pretty Wonderful. So for some reason, this one that says with sympathy did not seem to fit this card. So we are going to get started. I have a card base. It's 4¼ by 11 scored and folded. Oh, Heidi, you're home. That's nice. At 5½. And always be sure sometimes when you do it, it's going to be off just a teensy tiny bit. And I see I reinforced that bad score line. See if I can even it out. That looks better on the bottom, but I think this side looks better than the other one. Then I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch gold foil. And out of this, I used the dies from the mixed labels. I have some kind of cool dies, but I used this larger one here. And I used this one. Do you like the way I measured? This one for the gold and for the cherry cobbler, and this really pretty one with the embossing on it for the Melon Mambo. And gold foil, it's not that expensive, but you don't get a lot of paper. Ooh, 12 degrees. Okay, that's cold. I will not complain about my above freezing temperatures, but I am tired of the gray. Anyway, so I cut out of my gold foil because I want to get the most out of it. And this is going to be a layer, a matte layer, with the 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of the designer series paper, which again, I really do like this paper. And I decided to put these down flat because all the things on the top I am using some dimensionals with. Yeah, 12 degrees is cold. I'm sorry. Just even thinking about that. So when you glue this down, you do need to be careful just to go around the outside. And if you want a little more reinforcement, you can put some on your gold. So you've got something in the middle. Now I would advise doing this over your silicone mat, just because it can be messy, just in case something gushes out. So here we are. Get a little back rub there. This piece has less pink in it than this one does, pink and white. And that's the beauty of the the gold specialty paper when it's marbled like this, is you're not going to have the same piece, the same coloring out of each piece on the paper. Okay, so we've got our card started. Oh, hi, Lori. Good to see you. Oh, you've got 19 degrees, Gladys. That's still below freezing. We don't want below freezing. And on just a piece of white, 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside, I've got a 3 3/4 by 3/4 inch. Yes, that's 3/4 of an inch. I'm pretty sure that's what I measured. But it was just a piece of scrap that I had left over. So I didn't actually cut it special. I did cut it off a little bit. It was a little long. And let's go ahead and put this in the card, because the fewer pieces I have on my table, the better and happier I am. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Yes, you do need these papers. You really do. I think everybody needs these papers. Try not to laugh. I love specialty paper, and there aren't very many that I don't buy when they come out. Okay, so we've got our card. This piece is 6 13/16, which is just about the size of the envelope, and 2.5 inches. And let's go ahead and get our gluing done. If I'm going to make a mess with glue, I may as well do it all at once, right? So, what are you doing in the cold temperatures that you may have at your house? I'd be inside I'd probably be making cards with hot chocolate instead of tea. I really did buy myself some hot chocolate mix. Okay, here we go. Just going to trim this down because we have to have a pretty envelope. It's a rule. No naked envelopes, no naked insides of our cards. This is a really quick card to make. It was not necessarily a quick card to design because I tried many different heart sizes until I landed on what I wanted. I just take this is what I cut off the envelope flap, and I just take and I kind of angle it up on both sides. It's about the right size for the front of the envelope. Sometimes I have to trim off a tiny bit. Be sure you glue it or tear and tape it or use your seal or your seal plus. Do that because you want to make sure this is glued really down really well. I always do the non-machinable stamps um, because I don't want it to go through a machine. I think it's not 100% guarantee. I know Kat, who's not on today, hot chocolate and card making a cold day for you too, Cindy. Yep. Okay, there we go. Our envelope is done. I'll set it aside. Our card is ready to put the front on. I don't know. How do you do it? When I am designing a card and I'm playing with different bits and pieces, I usually don't put it together until I've got it the way I want it to look. So with this one, this piece of designer series paper just sat here on my desk and I just started building on it and moving things around to see what I wanted. So what's your process? So I think both Heidi and Gladys are up quite a bit north. I am going to use my dimensionals, which are not on my table. And I am going to raise my first heart that I'm going to put on, which is the pretty gold one. One thing you want to keep in mind with your putting this through, because it's got that embossing, it's cut and emboss, have a cleaner plate for the top, especially if you're doing metal, the foils, because they will show up what you have been working on. Now here we have the cherry cobbler, which is not, the reds aren't my go-to colors, but there's been so much pretty paper this year that I'm actually going through my cherry cobbler paper. Hey, Cindy Walker. Oh, Gladys, I'm glad you like that. It just sets it up a little bit. And for sharing or for commenting, I will put the piece this size in the envelope so that you can decorate your envelope too. Okay, so the first thing I do, because I can't always think it through if I don't see it. Oh, hi, Shirley, good to see you. This paper is stunning. As a matter of fact, this is going to be flat. This will be raised so that we don't have a card with pieces that are going at an angle. Can't really see the angle from there. Let's see if I do this and go like this, angle. We don't want one side up higher than the other. And so on this part that's going on the gold, I'm just going to put a little bit of our liquid Tombow glue. It's a gold multi-purpose glue, and I'm going to show you one thing I'm going to do with it because I am going to put something else new on this card. You can see it right here. It is the new gold trim, also in the online store. And this one will go here. So I am going to put a dimensional, probably about here. Get that out. And down at the point, there we are. Let's take this off. Up. And this one's going to get just a little bit in here. Did you see I got another new nail color? A little less red. I think it goes nice with the burgundy. All right. So here we go. We've got our hearts on. And now for the fun part. I really, really, really like sentiments. Oh, your daughter-in-law's a new stamper, Cindy? Oh, that's fantastic. Isn't it fun when someone starts stamping? I am going to emboss on the gold. Get that out of the way. I like the photopolymer when I'm going to emboss a sentiment because then I can see if it's straight. So hopefully I won't have to take and throw this one away like I did one earlier. Okay, you're pretty wonderful. And by the way, you are all pretty wonderful. And I'm gonna hopefully get that down flat and straight. And I forgot to use my embossing buddy, so we're gonna have to contend with a little bit of embossing powder where it shouldn't be. Be sure you close up your Versamark before. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like them. I do too. I'm really not a bright red person, so this is a better color for me. Oh, there's one of those pesky little dimensional backs. I am using the Wow embossing powder, opaque bright white. And I just have a little tray I'm putting into it. I really didn't clean out my last one very well, and I used a different color. So, well, that's not too bad. It's a little crooked, but it's not near as crooked as the first one I did today, believe me. And I have a little brush. This is not the one that comes in the embossing kit with the essentials kit. There would be less of this if I had remembered to use my embossing buddy. I can get that off, but I don't think it's too bad. This is fairly small, so I'm going to use my reverse tweezers. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Okay, you actually have to put it in the tweezers. I like these because they hold it closed. So if you're making a bow, you can also use this on the knot to hold it in place. Sorry about the noise. I'll try to speak up. Okay. And what I find is that it seems to melt pretty quickly on the gold foil, but a little bit over here that didn't get melted. And this is crooked. It does warp, but put it down and kind of let that cool just a little bit. And I put it on with dimensionals. What color is my paper tray? It's so pretty. This is called a tiny tray. And I think I saw a demonstrator using it and she got it off Amazon. So that's where I got mine. And I just put in tiny tray and I've had it for several years. It comes in a package of, I think I've got four. They're all pink. And I don't remember if there was a choice of color. They're really easy to clean up and they come flat and you just have to fold them up. Okay, I put four on because it is warped. Take those off. And put it right here down in the corner, kind of. And it will flatten out with the dimensionals. They'll give it the support it needs to be flat. So now we have, we have the foil. The foil's in here, the gold thread. It is, I believe, also an online exclusive. I didn't mark this, and I should have, but it's a gold twisted thread. And I wanted to do a double loop. And I think I'm going to make it this one bigger. We'll see how that looks. Oh, Heidi, thank you. Yes, you can do a lot on the foil. I think embossing works really well on it. We'll do a double loop. I am just going to trim this off. The twisted thread will untwist, and that kind of makes like a nice little fringy look at the end, which I think is kind of cool. All right. So when you're using the bow jig, and you want to make sure you get this really tight because you don't want those slipping around. I think with the gold in it, it's just not quite as stable. One side always seems to turn out so much nicer than the other, and I don't know why. The loops just look a little better. Now, um, I used a glue dot, and because there's some dimension on here and I wanted to tuck it in, it didn't work very well. So I decided to use my glue and make a little puddle. This glue dries clear. So even though there's a little puddle there, it's okay. Because once it's dry, it will be clear. You just need to give it a little bit of wait time while you're holding it so that it sets up. And I have my handy dandy, very handy dandy little Scotch tape holder. And I'm going to put that on. I don't know, I didn't like that. The other one did a little bit better, maybe because it was a glue dot with the glue on top of it. So I think I'm going to just hold this for a minute. And while I'm doing that, I'll show you one more new product. These are the adhesive backed heart sequins. I like them for two reasons. They're gold and they're shiny. The third reason is they're pretty flat. So they're not going to add dimension to your card or postage, extra postage. So let's just put one on down there, up there. I'll put the big one. And I think I'm going to use two smaller sequins because we want to honor the Fibonacci principle and have our in odds pleasing to the eye. And then just a little, this is just a little long. See, as I said, I'm having trouble keeping this on. All right, let's try the glue dot and then the glue on top of it, because that will bring it up a little bit. And say, I just had this take your pick tool. It was right in front of me. Okay, I rolled it. I'm going to put it on top of the glue. I want to kind of, it's, okay, glue dots stick to fingernails. The gel fingernail polish, they stick. Obviously it's not, there it is. Now let's put a little glue on top of the glue dot and raise that glue dot up a bit. that glue. And then I can put this on and hold it down as the glue dries. And because it's higher, I'm going to put this on top of it. There, how do you like that? So that's our card. That's what I've got for you today. Looks a lot like this one, except this, I really, if I'm being honest, I really like the more variation in color. I like the fact that there's a lot of the pinks. Yes, Cindy, it is a bonus. And thank you for telling me that you shared, Cindy, because depending on what your permissions are on Facebook, it's depends on it. Can I see it or not? When it says who shared, if I can't see, if they won't show me your name, I don't know you've shared. So be sure you tell me you shared, and I hope you'll um, like the video. That's always good for the Facebook algorithms. Thank you, Cindy. So, what is everybody drinking today as we let this dry for just a moment? You know, I've got the hot tea. I also finished some iced tea. At Gladys's recommendation, I bought some snarky tea and got a free jug to mix it up in. And it is really, really, really good. Thank you, Gladys. And I think that's it. I don't have any cards to show you. No, two have come in, but I wanted to wait till I got all of the swap cards in before I showed them to you. Oh, Cindy, you've got coffee? That sounds good too. Okay. I think that it's not quite dry yet. I'm not going to do anything to it. We won't be cutting anything off it until it's totally dry. But this is the card, all the pieces I'm going to send you. And because I didn't do much stamping, the only thing you need to do is put a sentiment on that. I have it all cut out. I can tell you two things. Oh, thank you, Heidi. I've got Kat for for commenting on YouTube, and Cindy for sharing on Facebook. And I just didn't have enough time to get all the names in and do the name spinner thing. Oh, Simone, it's so good to see you. I'm good. How are you? Are you doing well? I know it's been hard for you. It's hard to, loss is hard. Let's just face it. So I think that's all I've got for you today. I want to get all of the swap cards in for the Cat's Meow team swap before I share it. And I'm thinking, oh, sneak peek. We're going to use new products, but I was thinking that next week we do a 3D project, a little double holder. Isn't that cute? I used the wildflower and I haven't decorated it yet. It's just kind of sitting behind me, waiting for me to finish it up. Maybe this afternoon. Thank you, Heidi. Anyway, I'm thinking that we'll do 3D next week. I do like 3D projects. Anyway, I think that's it. And I will see you next week. Yes, next week, let's see, it's Wednesday. The cat goes in to be spayed. Yay! And Harley goes in. He's doing really, really well on his knees. He's getting lasers. He had stem cell treatment. His incision is healing where they harvested the fat for the stem cells. And his laser treatments are going well. So they're thinking that next week he'll get to start physical therapy. They've got a water treadmill and with water. And so I'm hoping that works and that he's easier to get out of the car. He was easy this time. He actually let me get him out of the car without too much of a hassle to go into the vets. And then he got his pup cup at a place called Extreme Bean, which is out in the county. Wow, they're good. And they've got eggnog lattes. So somebody may be having an eggnog latte every time she gets a pup cup for the dog. We both need positive reinforcement for going to the vet. Anyway, I think that's all that's going on in my life. Well, hi, Sheila. How are you? I was just done. I'm going to put the comments, the dimensions in the comments, and then I am going to finish up the random names for commenting. And I think that's it. Oh, thank you, Cindy. I love my babies. My fur babies are important to me. They're quite the love of my life. They're also the love of my checking account. I don't know. My vet likes me anyway. Okay, I'm going to take off. Bye bye.